Okay, this is going to be another micro lecture. This is one that leans heavily on in-class participation. So we are going to be obviously doing little of that and much more work, self-work for these, but we're going to work on something near and dear to my heart, and that is active listening. And just think to yourself, what do you notice when someone is actively listening to you, or for that matter, when you're actively listening to someone else? There are definitely visual cues. Um, Eye contact, leaning in, mimicking what the other person's doing with their hands, asking clarifying questions, restating what the person just said in a way that they agree with shows that you were actively listening. And the drill activity that we do in class is you pair off and one person is the listener and the other person is the talker. And I have in the first case, the talker talk for a minute about something that they're passionate about, a hobby or their family or whatever it might be. As long as stay away from politics and religion for the most part. And the other person in the first case ignores them, looks around, checks their watch, pulls out their cell phone, looks completely disinterested. And what we always find is it's extremely uncomfortable, especially for the person who's trying to fill the air with words when there's no participation from the other person. And then after we just discuss that, we go back in and repeat it with the same talker and listener, but this time the listener is active and asks questions and engages, and the time just flies by, and a lot more information gets transferred, and a closeness develops a lot of times, especially if I pair of people who aren't sitting next to each other all the time, as people tend to do. So that's what we would do in class. So we're going to have another activity that is online for you to do, but just kind of keep that drill in the back of your mind when you find yourself maybe not listening to someone, particularly if they're a patient, a coworker, or a supervisor, anyone, anyone. In fact, you find your mind wandering and you're not actively listening. So is good communication more of an art or a science? And I would say yes to that. It is both an art that you have to change and practice to get good at, but there are proven ways that you can improve. If you're a not so great communicator, there are proven things you can do and practice scientifically to become a better communicator, but to truly be fluid in communication, you have to elevate it to the form of an art.